Joshua here on day 20 of our purpose-driven challenge. Yeah! We are there at the halfway mark. I am so excited. This is a challenge for me as well as it is for you, but I think it is so wonderful because I've gone through this book twice now and it has blessed me tremendously, and I hope it has blessed you. It's blessing you as well. And today we're talking about restoring broken relationships. Yesterday we talked about cultivating community, and we know that in community, wherever there's people gathered together, there's always things that happen, things that challenge the community, things that challenge us as individuals. We talked about forgiveness and trust yesterday, and today we're talking about restoring broken relationships, restoring broken fellowship. When things happen, how do we respond? What do we do? The Bible talks about the peacemakers, because in living in a community, we have to talk about how we can restore broken fellowship. The first thing is that when we value the relationships, we are going to see that this person is a part of me. And so it's like you can't just say, okay, my hand is sick, I'm going to cut it off my body. You can't just say, oh, I don't like this person, I'm going to do away with them. No, we have to value. When we have that sense of value for the relationships, we're going to know that if fellowship is broken, if the relationship is broken, we have to seek restoration of that. And restoring fellowship is not easy, but it is vital, because when we do not do that, when there is problems and there is hurt, there's strife and between us as children of God in a Christian community, the world looks at us. Remember, we talked about the fact that when we love one another, people know that we are the children of God. And one of the ways to really know as well that we're children of God is when we seek peace. The Bible says that blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called children of God. God has called us to peace, making peace. Yesterday we talked about the fact that we should not avoid conflict, but we should Yesterday we talked about the fact that we should not avoid conflict, but we should handle conflict with love. We should bring correction with love. We should speak our mind. We should not avoid it, but we should be honest and humble. And so handling conflict is essential. It's essential to everyday life. Every relationship, we have to always handle conflict in one way or the other. So we are not supposed to try to avoid it, but we're supposed to be wise in how we handle it with wisdom and understanding. And the author gives us 7 steps to restoration. I don't want to miss any of them. But the first one is that we have to pray first, talking to God about the issue. Sometimes when we spend that time, and I have experienced this in my own life in many, many ways, and people will tell you who use this approach, praying about it first really gives you an outlet for your emotions. It gives you an outlet to cry, vent to God. He's able to handle our challenges. He's able to handle how we feel, and so we can do that. But if we come to handle conflict and we've not really dealt with the emotional side of it, that initial burst of anger or frustration or whatever, we realize that if we come like that into the conflict resolution scenario or situation, whoever we're trying to talk to is going to be taken aback. Whoever we come to talk to is going to be taken aback by the weight of emotions, and then they can just easily shut down, and they will not really be open to listen. We have to pray first. We have to pray for God to soften our hearts. We have to pray for God to give understanding. The next thing, we have to take the initiative. It doesn't matter whether you were wronged or it doesn't matter whether you were at fault or the other person was at fault, the mature person, they say, makes the first step. So you can take the first step in conflict resolution. And when you've prayed about something, take the first step. And if you're coming to apologize. But if you're coming to seek understanding of why you were hurt, I say that because sometimes if you were hurt, you might not always go back with an apology, but you could come in there to seek understanding for why you were hurt. So take the initiative and go to either apologize or to go and seek for understanding. The next thing is empathize with feelings. You might be the one who wronged the person, or they might have wronged you, but they have feelings about the situation as well. You have to empathize with the feelings. And if you are the peacemaker, you might not even be the one who was wronged. You might just be there to mediate the situation. You have to empathize with the feelings of the people. You seek to listen more than just talking. Seek to understand before trying to be understood, because sometimes when we go into a conversation seeking to be understood first, we don't listen, and when we don't listen, we really do not understand, and that does not help resolve conflict. The next step is confess your own mistakes, confess your own wrongs, take responsibility for something. It could be as simple as, I'm sorry I didn't get you. I'm sorry I did not understand why you said it that way. I'm sorry I didn't understand your perspective. Just take ownership of something, because when there is a conflict, they say it always takes two to tango. So take responsibility for something. The next thing in restoring broken fellowship is attacking the problem, not the person. Making sure that you are dealing with the issue, not the person, not attacking their character. I know sometimes it's very hard for us to separate people's actions from who they are, but it is the truth. Sometimes good people do terrible things. Sometimes good people just make mistakes. To err is human, to forgive is divine, as the saying goes. So it's important for us not to attack the person, but attack the situation. These skills, I believe this chapter is so important and is relevant to any relationship, not just relationships in the context of a Christian family, but even in a natural family, even at work, in anywhere you find yourself. These steps to restoration are key and vital, especially even in marriages or relationships with children, whatever you may be. So I want you to really take them to heart. Cooperate as much as possible. You know, sometimes you have to adjust your perspective. You have to adjust your thinking. Don't just be stuck on, how you think it, how you saw it. I've seen people and situations where you're trying to bring correction or you're trying to say something, but they are stuck on their perspective, and it's just terrible. It doesn't make things go anywhere. So be willing to make adjustments, especially when you come from a place of understanding. It will be easy for you to make adjustments, and then focus on reconciliation, not resolution. I know this one is kind of hard, especially for people who like closure. We want to have closure. So what is the end? So where have we arrived? But sometimes resolution takes a while as we keep going over it, with respect, with openness of mind. But resolution is important. Reconciliation is important. Reconciliation first, focus on that, and then resolution is going to come later. Maybe when people calm down and they really understand and the emotions are out of it, then people can be like, okay, this is the resolution. So in restoring broken fellowship, let's focus on reconciliation first, not resolution. Resolution comes later. Because we're not going to agree on every issue, but when we would eventually get to a place where we're like, okay, this is the way we move forward. And so the question to consider today is, who do you need to take the first step towards restoring a relationship today? It is very very tough, I know, but we have to think about it. Who do I need to take the first step in reconciling or restoring a broken relationship or fellowship? Remember, the first step is prayer. Next, you take the initiative. Do not take it without praying. So pray for the wisdom, pray for the strength, pray that God should help your heart. Pray for understanding, because you're going in there to understand. Take the initiative, sympathize with the feelings of whoever it is that is hurt. Remember, you might be hurt, but the other person could equally be hurt. Confess your own mistake. Take ownership of something. Maybe it was as simple as you misunderstood. Take ownership of that. That opens up the heart. Do not attack the person, attack the problem. Remember, good people can do bad things. So don't always tie the actions of the person to who they are, because that could be assaulting of someone's person. We hear of that. Cooperate as much as possible, be flexible, and then above all, or lastly, focus on reconciliation. Resolution will always come later. I hope you enjoyed this one. This was day 20. We are there at the halfway mark. I'll see you tomorrow on day 21 of our Purpose Pursuit. Again, Starshu here. God bless you. Thank you for sharing, for liking these videos, and for staying part of this community. God bless you, and bye-bye.